Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In an age where celebrity culture is so pervasive as it is today, and things like fashion and cosmetics and the artificial beauty is so decisive, and it almost dictates a person's sphere of influence and whether he will be liked or disliked in this world, and where the image is set against the ideal, and the image is so more important, and the ideal kind of takes a back foot. We should remember the great importance the Prophet placed, in fact, on the importance of the ideal over the image. It's almost a paradigm shift. It's going back. It's changing the natural order that we see in the world today. And I want to simply mention a very beautiful story pertaining to one individual who was not the image, or he was not the aesthetically beautiful. He didn't have the good looks, nor did he have was he in the best social class, nor did he have the best social standing, nor did he have a good job, nor did he have parents of whom we know. His lineage is unknown, his parents are unknown, we don't know what tribe he came from. His name was Julaybib, and even the name is from his description, because he's jalbab, because he's dwarf-like, and so he was very short, very diminutive. And people found that quite repulsive, and they were repelled by that. They kept their distance from him, and there are many people in the world who are like that. Not everyone is the same. Society is a complex mesh of all kinds of individuals. There are some who are poor, there are some who are rich, and some who are very good looking, and others who are not like that. And there are some who have good social statuses, and others who are not like that. But what does Islam say about that? And do we simply remain with our cliques and remain with our social groupings when it's very easy, or familiarity when we're familiar with people? No, Islam is not like that, and teaches us something very, very different, very distinct. And this individual Julaybib, people kept their distance. But the one who approached him was the Prophet himself, peace be upon him. And the Prophet on one occasion inquired about him, and he inquired about his well-being. Like, what is your story, Julaybib? What is happening with you? Are you married these days? And Julaybib, of course, said that there is no chance of me getting married when I don't even have a companion. I don't even have a friend, let alone an intimate wife or intimate partner. And so the Prophet went to make inquiries about him, for him, and he knocked on one of the homes of one of the people of the Ansar, the supporters, those who helped the Prophet in Medina. And he inquired about marrying Julaybib to the daughter living in that home with her parents. And the parents were astonished, and they said that, we would marry our daughter happily to anyone except Julaybib. Again, they were looking for the image, and that should be the thing that dictates whether or not they would allow their daughter to marry somebody, or wealth, or privilege, or status, or lineage. But Julaybib had none of them, but he had the ideal for sure. He was known for his goodness and his good mannerism and his obedience to Allah and His Prophet. In any case, the daughter, she did end up marrying Julaybib because she was concerned about what the Prophet had to offer as a marriage partner. Now, the story, in fact, concerning Julaybib almost comes to a halt. We don't actually know that much more about him, except one tradition collected in one book of hadith, one book of prophetic tradition, when the Prophet was coming back from an expedition, and there were many who were killed in that expedition, many who survived also. And the Prophet, he inquired, and he says, are you missing anybody here? He asked his companions, and they said, we are missing nobody, O Prophet of Allah. And then he asked the question the second time, are you missing anybody? And then they said the second time, we are missing nobody. And then he asked the third time, do you miss anybody? And they said, no, we miss nobody else. We've counted everybody that that were absent from us. But then the Prophet said, وَلَكِنِّي أَفْقِدُ جُلَيْبِيبَ, but I myself, I miss Julaybib. The Prophet turned his attention towards the one that they would never turn their attention to. The Prophet considered the one that they were mindless of. The Prophet considered the one that was socially deprived. The Prophet considered the one who had very little. But in his eyes and from his perspective, he had so much more, and was given credit and credence for that. And the Prophet says to them, go and find him. And so they went off, and they went to try and find where he was, on the battlefield or somewhere else. And they found him on the battlefield, and he had been killed. and around him were others, enemies who had been killed, and the Prophet was informed, and the Prophet went to him. And the Prophet stood by his body, and the Prophet said it like this. He turned to him and he said, هَذَا مِنِّي وَأَنَا مِنْهُ. This man is from me and I am from him. This man is from me and I am from him. This man is from me and I am from him. And it was a very moving episode, in fact, for the Prophet's companions, because they were marveled by the fact how this man had been transformed by the recognition of the Prophet himself. How many people do we see in society like that, who live on the fringes of society? People you might find in the mosque, or you might find in the streets, or you might find in a classroom, or you might find in places, and they kind of have their own corner, have their own space, and nobody talks to them, and nobody asks them. Like the Prophet asked him, what is your story, Julaybib? Do we give people like that our time of day? The Prophet gave his time of day to this man, Julaybib, and it transformed him. And it transformed how he was perceived in society. So that when he said to him on his death that this man is from me and I am from him, the Prophet gave him a very special place. And not did he didn't do that for all of his companions at every time when they had been killed or had died, for example. And then the narrator mentions another interesting piece of information, and says that the Prophet placed Julaybib, this man of whom we don't even know his name or his parents' name or his lineage or his tribe or anything else. The Prophet placed him in his arms, and the narrator says that the Prophet placed him in his arms, and Julaybib had no pillow on that day except the arms of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And that is an interesting piece of information about why it was included in the first place. Because that's Julaybib. It's almost as if the Prophets provided for him. The Prophets brought him close to himself, shown human empathy for him. And that is the essence of Islam. Islam does not discriminate with regards to those from one social class or another one. Islam is suitable for all. So in our dealings in human society then, when we're out in the streets or at work or we're in the mosque or we're doing our daily business, we sometimes find people like that. And there are many people in the world who are like that. Those who are socially deprived. They don't have the good well-being as we do, or who have the good upbringing perhaps as we do, or have the same kind of jobs as we might do. We have an obligation as Muslims, as people, to care for them, to respect them, to give them recognition, to give them kind words, and to bring them in, bring them close. For that was the instruction of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and that is the ethics of Islam, and that is an example of Islam and its role with regard to social justice. May Allah make us all like that. And may Allah bless those who are socially deprived, and may Allah give them good people to tend for them and to care for them and respect them. And may Allah make this world a better place for us and our children to live in by way of the good things and the good deeds that we do to help other people. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.